Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. Guys, we in week 6 here. We about to get into it. My boy Jeremy here. You already know what time we on. You know the show. We tell each other, you don't know football. We gonna figure this thing out. And we gonna get to the bottom of some things. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Jeremy, can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, brother.
Yeah, that's how we talking, man. Listen, y'all's favorite Jeremy. You know the last time that you was here, we had likes. It was like 900,000 likes and stuff like that. Like we was cruising with you, man.
It's the takes, man. The takes are hot.
Okay, okay. So today we're going to talk about the week 5 games that we had talked about. The week 6 games that to watch, and then there's some surprises. You know, I'm very curious to hear what surprises that you have coming into the season. You think you're ready for that, man?
I'm ready when you are, man.
All right. So we're going to start with the Thursday night game, which was surprise, surprise. The 49ers beat the Rams in LA 26-23 in overtime. So I got some stats. I always say the losing team stats first. So, Matt Stafford, he was 30 for 47, 389 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Kyron Williams had 14 carries for 65 yards. They had no rushing touchdowns. Devontae Adams had 5 receptions for 88 yards. No touchdowns. Puka Nacua had 10 receptions for 85 yards and a touchdown. And Kyron Williams also had 66 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns. Did they have any picks or sacks? They definitely had some sacks. I know that.
I think the
Uh,
Rams had one
yeah,
one or
Byron
two
Young had a half
fumbles.
a sack.
I think they had one or two fumbles, which were the big kind of game changers there.
Mm-hmm. Kobe Turner had a half a sack. That was that. Okay. And then going back to it now, Mac Jones was 33 or 49, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Christian McCaffrey had 22 carries for 57 yards. Uh, and then Kendrick Bourne, he led them with 10 receptions for 142 yards, no touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey had 82 yards receiving with a touchdown. And Jake Tongs, he had a touchdown as well. Anything? They had 1 sack, I think. It was Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff had a sack. So, man, what happened with this game, man? The 49ers was all beat up. That wasn't even supposed to happen. How did that happen? Talk to me.
Oh man! First of all, Shanahan, just one of the best coaches in the league. Um, these guys missing Kittle, missing Jawan Johnson, missing Pearsall, missing Purdy, and still
Randy
coming
Ayuk
through,
still
man.
hasn't come back yet.
Still coming through, man. Mac Jones, I think it's clear, one of, if not the best
Nick
backup
Bosa's out
quarterback
for the
in the
year.
league. Crazy, man. But, Mac Jones is incredible. Like I said, one of the best, if not the best backup quarterbacks in the league. Um, for me, it's one of those things where I just wonder, do they need Purdy? I mean, they signed him to this huge money contract, sinking, that max QB contract into him. And it just seems like he's a replacement level guy sometimes. Granted, Mac Jones did pretty well on the Jags last year. They got rid of him. But huge win for the 49ers. Defense looks good despite losing a lot of starters from last year. Offense is holding together, and no reason why this team shouldn't get better when they start to get their guys back. I think I predicted this team to win the division. Their roster is just solid top to bottom, and just a really good coaching staff. So big win for them. Um, on the Rams side, inconsistent play all season, but still think they're a good team, and got to give some love to Puka, man, who's proven to be one of the top 3 or 4 receivers in the league, man. The guy's just an absolute beast.
Okay, so first of all, I try not to put too much in division losses, especially when one team has higher expectations because, you play each other twice a year.
Sure.
Those things happen. The Patriots used to win a Super Bowl all the time, and the Dolphins would beat them. You know what I mean? It'd be like, how did Miami beat them? So I'm
For
not putting
sure,
too
for
much on
sure.
that. But to answer your question about Brock Purdy, I've been telling people I didn't see the top of the league money talent from Brock Purdy. And people are like, I'm hating, and I'm not just wrong, but hating on Brock Purdy. I'm like, I'm not hating on him. He's good. But just like you said, Shanahan has had so many quarterbacks look good in his system. It's shout out to Shanahan, man. Shout out to him. I don't know if he
Big
really
time,
gets the
man. Big
credit
time.
for what he does because honestly, that's the one thing that the one hurdle that he has to prove, and he proved something else. And I didn't even think this was a hurdle for him, but he proved something else. My team's gonna be completely obliterated, and I'm still gonna beat my division foe in their at their home. Only hurdle he ever has to prove is I need you to win a Super Bowl. I need you to not have collapsed leads in the playoffs of the Super Bowl. If we could pull that off, I
Right.
mean, we ain't saying anything. Now, I still expect the Rams to be just fine with this game, but like I said, this was the best coaching performance. I don't know if there's going to be a better coaching performance in this year. This was
Sure.
immaculate. Just this is why, but this is why you don't give head coaches so many outs for when their team is underperforming. I'm like, well, you still got to put this together. You know, that's just the nature of the beast in the NFL. So that's how I feel about that.
I'm with you, man. Also, good to have McCaffrey back healthy. League's always better when he's in, you know?
Finally, man.
Crazy.
All right, who did I have next? I had Broncos and Eagles. Oh, before I just go past it, shout out to my Colts. Uh, 4-1, 40-6 win. We're not gonna get into it. It wasn't a big game, so I just wanted to throw that out there about my Colts. You see, I liking what I'm seeing there. Like it, I like it. I don't love it. I like it though. The Broncos, and by the way, and there's video evidence. If you look at the last episode, I called the Broncos beating the Eagles too. I said the Broncos are gonna beat the Eagles, so I saw that one coming. So the Broncos beat the Eagles, giving them their first loss of the season. They won 21-17. Jalen Hurts was 23 of 38 for 280 yards, two touchdowns, no picks. Saquon Barkley only had 30 yards rushing. There was no rushing touchdowns. No tush push was a factor in this game. You know, Devontae Smith had 8 receptions, 114 yards, no touchdowns. Saquon did have 58 yards receiving with a touchdown, and Dallas Goedert also had a receiving touchdown. And on their defense, Zach Bond had a sack. Um, Zadarius Smith had a sack. You know, was that it? Yeah, that was pretty much it. They didn't have any picks though. So going over to the Broncos, Bo Nix, he was 24 of 39, 242 yards, one touchdown, no picks. J.K. Dobbins had 20 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton led them with 8 receptions for 99 yards. He did not have the touchdown, but Evan Ingram did have the receiving touchdown. What they doing with their defense? Alex Singleton had a sack. Nick Bonito had 2.5 sacks. Jaquan, what's his last name? McMillan, he had a sack. Uh, Uzuware, I can't say his first name, but Uzuware, he had a sack. Yeah, man. So the so the the Broncos went into Philly and took care of them. What you think about that one?
Starting with the Broncos, defense is incredible. Benito on the short list for early defensive player of the year watch. Um, that offense worries me. They don't. In my opinion, I don't think they really have any studs on offense. I don't think they have any major playmakers on offense.
For the
Bo
Broncos?
Nix is yeah. Bo Nix has been kind of up and down all season, but they came alive in the fourth quarter and really blew it up. Um, also Sean Payton, just another top coach in the league. On the other end of the spectrum, I think Sirianni is a fraud. I'm going to say it. That roster has been one of the best rosters probably ever assembled over the last few years, and obviously last year they put it together, but this year it just seems like there's infighting amongst the players. AJ Brown's kind of going nuts about not getting balls. Hurts I give credit to, man. People say he can't pass. Dude slings the ball. But their offensive line, which has been, obviously kind of the anchor of that team, doesn't look the same. As you said, Saquon had 30 rushing yards. I think they only had like 8 or 9 design runs the whole game, which is just not the Eagles' game plan. And I think when the Eagles get knocked off their game plan, Sirianni's not a coach that adjusts. Um, I was listening to a podcast earlier today that was saying that the Broncos, they were playing man in the first half and getting kind of run out by the Eagles. And then in the second half, they switched to zone and just completely locked the Eagles up. And, not a huge adjustment, but Eagles did nothing about it. I think they were up, 17-3 for most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And in the fourth quarter, when, you got to have good coaching, you got to be able to make adjustments. Nothing from Sirianni. I still think they're a great roster, but I just holes in that team, man, for sure. And if the O line isn't performing, and I think a couple of those guys, Dickerson and Johnson, have some injuries, I just don't see it happening for them again this year.
Yeah. So the Eagles are OP. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. You know what I mean? And it's hard to see what people can do to stop them. Now, the Eagles sometimes, and this is just in their history, when they have overpowered teams or teams that are really highly talented and they jump out to like great starts, they don't play their best. They just say we just expect to win. I love when those teams lose. I'm a person. I think you need a couple losses under your belt. You know what I mean? You need a couple losses to humble you and be like, I need a healthy fear for everybody that I'm playing. I don't think the Eagles had a healthy fear for who they were playing. And the Broncos delivered exactly what I thought was they were going to deliver. Is Sirianni a fraud? Now, it's hard to say a fraud because he's going to a Super Bowl and then he lost a Super Bowl and then came back and won the next one that he got to. Most people don't even get back to the second Super Bowl, let alone the first one. I don't know if I can give him fraud, but this was definitely lost by coaching. You're 100% right. When they switched to zone, they look at their. That's what I'm saying. You got to have a healthy fear for people. When you have so many weapons that you can go to, you can't just lock in and say, all right, the defense can't do anything to stop that. You need to be humble enough to say, all right, they're trying to take that away. Let them take that away. What else can we do? Saquon Barkley should have ran the ball probably 25 times that game. You know what I mean? It would have probably changed the trajectory of the whole game. Even if it wasn't working, that's just a good defense that you're going against. You can't just think you're just gonna roll over everybody, and I feel like that's what they did. Now, I kind of disagree with you when you said the Broncos didn't really have any weapons. I think Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims are like a really good 1-2 punch at a wide receiver position. And in running backs, J.K. Dobbins, when he's healthy, he's always been a productive back. And their rookie, what's their rookie's name?
Troy Franklin or Harvey, RJ Harvey.
RJ Harvey. And RJ Harvey, they seem to like him too. And I love what you call it as a coach. I can't think of his name.
Sean Payton.
Thank you so much.
Payton's a great coach.
I love Sean Payton as a coach, and I love how he's going to be able to get the most out of the Broncos. I'm telling you, man, you keep an eye on the Broncos, man. They're gonna be scary come playoff time. I picked them to win the division. Um, I think that still looks smart. By the way, next week I'm going to give my final playoff predictions, and I'm going to also include the Super Bowl participants and winner. So I'm doing that already, week 6. I'm telling
Bills
you,
Lions, take it to the bank.
that's not happening. That's not happening. That's not happening. But I'm telling you, the Broncos are not going to be a team that you're going to want to play come playoffs. And I'm
Best defense in the league, arguably,
defense
and defense in the playoffs makes a big difference. And look, I think their offense is okay. They have a good O line. But what I mean is, I don't think there's any guys on that offense they can lean on to make a play. Cortland Sutton's a good jump ball receiver, but can't really do anything after the catch. Mims hasn't really shown much, in my opinion. Dobbins is a mid-level RB at best. I just don't think they have any true guys that you put the ball in their hands and they can make some magic happen. But we'll see, man. I hate the Broncos, but they're a good team.
okay.
Last thing on the Eagles, real quick, and to me, what I think is the most telling about their team this year, I think last year Saquon averaged over 4 yards before contact per run. This year he's at 2. Last year he had 11 or 12 runs over 20 yards. This year not one yet.
Well, once
They're
again
banged up on the O line, man. They're not
but
getting it
they
done.
switched up there. It's not the personnel. That's the thing about Philly. It's not the personnel. They switch. See, this is why it's so hard when you just switch an offensive coordinator. It's a whole culture. It's a whole system.
Yeah.
The way they're blocking strategy, like it's not. They don't block the same way. It's like going where in one situation you pull your guards, and the next one you do zone blocking schemes. You know what I mean? You need a different kind of lineman for each one. So they have to adjust to this blocking
For
scheme.
sure.
You know what I mean?
For
So
sure.
I that's what I'm saying. Like it's like the coaching got to figure out, okay, this is the best way for us to put them in a good situation. You know what I mean? Coaching can't just say, here's the system, get used to it. They got to say, all right, I got to fit this to what I have. You know, so that's what the great I feel like that's what the great coaches can do.
Agreed, man.
All right, we're going to move on to the Bucks and um Seahawks, but just brazen over this, man, the Ravens got taxed by the Texans. You know, and I wanted to still make that one of like the prime games, but I was like, they're both 1-3. I can't. You know what I mean?
Ravens. Oh man, that's a tough one, man. I mean, to go from Super Bowl favorite to likely to miss, that's tough. That's a big fall, man.
Yeah, we'll get into it. So the Bucks and the Seahawks, which was a great game by the way,
Great game, man. Best game of the week.
fantastic game. The Bucks won 38-35. Um, where was this play? I forget where this even played, but it doesn't matter. The Buccaneers won 38-35 against the Seahawks. Sam Darnold on the Seahawks, he was 28 of 34, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. Kenneth Walker the third, he had 10 carries for 86 yards. Zach Charbonnet actually had the rushing touchdown, but not much rushing. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 8 receptions for 132 yards and a touchdown. But AJ Barner, he had 2 receiving touchdowns, and Torrey Horton had a receiving touchdown as well. And from their defense, D'Anthony Bell had a half a sack. Which means somebody had another half a sack, but I don't know what. There it is. Uchene Nwosu. Yeah, these names get harder and harder every year, boy. I tell you. Um, uh, not the days of Steve Smith anymore. um, so with the Bucks, Baker Mayfield, he was 29 of 32, 379 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Not much on the ground, but Rashad White did have 2 rushing touchdowns. Um, Emeka Iboku or Ibuku. I can't say his name either right now. He had 7 receptions for 163 yards and a touchdown. And Sterling Shepard also had a receiving touchdown. Now they had on their defense, they didn't have any sacks, but they did have a pick by Levante David.
Play the game, man.
It was. It was. All right. Tell me something I don't know about the Bucks and the Seahawks.
Bucks, Seahawks, man. The Bucks super solid. Baker's a baller. My worry with the Bucks is every game they've won has been 3 points or less. So, good when you're coming out on top in close games, but they're not blowing anybody out. The defense gives up a lot of points, but luckily their offense is high flying. And the fact that they can do that with no Godwin, no Mike Evans, and no Bucky Irving, just goes to show that their team is super deep and Baker balls, man, and Buka's a beast. These Ohio State receivers are just
Are killing this league right
crank
now.
crank out, man. So
So wide
Buka's an
receiver you,
absolute beast.
LSU or Ohio State?
LSU and Ohio State, man, wide receiver you for sure. So, the Bucks, I got high hopes for the Bucks. They play in a bad division. Should definitely win that division, definitely make it to the playoffs. Like I said, their defense needs to tighten up a little bit, but when Mike Evans is back healthy and Bucky's back healthy, that's a tough offense to stop for sure. On the Seahawks side, one of the teams that I think is overachieved offensively. Um, that Geno trade and signing Darnold's looking better every week, and that offense is finding ways to work despite the fact that when I first looked at that roster at the start of the season, other than JSN, there didn't look like there was anyone else on that offense that could make a play from the receiver position. But those guys are playing well. Darnold's playing well. That new kind of zone running scheme is opening up lanes for Ken Walker
Mhm.
and Charbonnet. Solid 1-2 punch.
Absolutely.
And look, I think both these teams, the difference here is the Seahawks play in, what's starting to look like one of the toughest divisions.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a tough one to come out of. But I could definitely see, 49ers, Rams, and Seahawks all making the playoffs in the NFC. Seahawks defense is playing super well. And
I was
just
just
a
going to
great
get to
game,
that.
man. Game of the week for sure. Super exciting to watch. That
That was
turnover at the end, man, that Darnold turnover at the end is what really got him. And that's the one thing that worries me with the Seahawks, kind of as far as deep playoff aspirations. I just don't know if I trust Darnold, but playing solid so far.
Yeah, man, talking about the Seahawks defense, that was the first thing I was going to talk about. Man, what a revelation this defense is. My
Granted, they gave up
goodness.
38 points, but
I
still.
mean, yeah, but and which is going to get to my next point. Yo, man, shout out to Baker Mayfield. I've been with somebody who's been very critical on Baker Mayfield. I remember when he was in Cleveland, and I remember watching the year that they won like 4 games, and he threw the ball all over the year. And then I saw the year that they went when they actually made the playoffs. They just also started off slow, and then he started handing the ball off more. And I was like, the strategy was for Baker Mayfield to hand the ball off more. And I was like, I'm not going to forget that. And it's hard for me to see this and really shake what I originally saw from Baker. But man, I give him props, man. Baker is tearing this league up right now.
He is, man. And also just funny how crazy the NFL is. Baker and Darnold were teammates on the Panthers.
How about that? I didn't even think
Crazy,
about that.
man.
How about that? But even with these two quarterbacks, the resurgence of this. So like, I remember having a conversation where people were saying these quarterbacks are more prepared to be NFL quarterbacks than the quarterbacks of past. And this is pretty much proving no, if you sit your quarterbacks for a while and let them develop, man, they're gonna have resurgent they can have resurgent careers. Like I mean, if they sat for like three years, that's like there's no telling what they could do. Um
As long as you don't go to the Panthers or the Jets.
well, don't start there. You know, that's don't start there. But you know what I mean? And it's really great to watch quarterbacks have to develop again and say that's why they're able because the game slowed down for them. I think these are both playoff teams. You know what I mean? This could be a playoff matchup round one again. You know what I mean? I'll be
Sure.
excited to see it again. Yeah, man, I don't have too much more to say about this right now, but there's been revelations with both of these teams, and I am excited to see both of them going forward.
For sure.
And remember, I gave you a reprieve this week. Do you? All right. So, seeing how we are here, though, do you have anything that you want to say for your Chargers, man? Do you have anything that you want to say for them? I'm not going to go.
I
Yeah.
do. It's a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bummer because the Chargers have just been, and obviously I complain about this as a fan, but injuries have just
Mm-hmm.
plagued the Chargers for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And last year we had a healthy team for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was a lot of hype coming into this year. I thought the Chargers could definitely win the division. Started off, well, Rashawn Slater was a tough loss early, but Joe Alt was looking like one of the best, left and right tackles in the league. The team was looking really solid the last few games. Started out 3-0 in the division and just collapse. Injuries, defense, Mac, our whole O line is decimated. Now Marion Hampton and Najee are out. Just can't catch a break for my Bolts, man. So, non-injury related, our defense seems to have taken its foot off the gas the last couple games.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting a little bit better showing from our defense, but my biggest thing is it's you cannot put enough onus on the importance of offensive line play. If you don't have a good offensive line, you're not going to have a good team.
Right.
And if you look back on all the teams that have won Super Bowls, Patriots always had a top O line, Chiefs have had a top O line,
Mm-hmm.
Eagles have
Absolutely.
had a top O line.
Absolutely.
You can't do it if you can't make it happen in the trenches. You can't protect your quarterback. You can't block and push the run. And look at the Chargers, man. Alt goes down. Mekhi Becton gets hurt. Our backup right tackle Pipkins goes down, and we're just getting, losing to the Giants, getting bowled over by the Commanders, who don't even have a good defense.
And you
Um,
started off great against them too.
they
Like y'all
did.
started off like it was looking like y'all were gonna
That
whoop
fumble
them
was
out.
brutal. The called back punt touch, return touchdown.
Vlad McCockley, oh,
Tough,
that
bro.
was a dope
It's
play. I
been
saw that.
it's been tough, bro. So look, I still we have an easy slate of games coming up. I think we could easily go, 3-1 in the next four. Still hope, but it's just these injuries, man. It's tough. It's
So, but
tough
this
to
is this
compete
is
when you're
why.
hurt.
So, but this would be the stretch where you like not you, but people would say I'm being unfair to Justin Herbert. This like I can't look. I don't know how to look at the Chargers right now based off of what's happened, and then look at like what the 49ers just did and have real sympathy. You know what I'm saying? Like real sympathy. Like now, some of this
49ers
isn't going to
O-line's
be
healthy,
fair.
man.
Some of it's not going to be fair. But I'm looking at him to be the niche pin to say, all right, we can still keep this together while we get these guys back, and stuff like that. And I know it's a lot of injuries, but that's what I looked like for everybody who says stuff. Like there was like he was like MVP after like week two, and I'm like, all right, he can't be the MVP. Like you know what I mean? And
He's been
now
the
it's
most
like,
pressured quarterback the last 2 weeks, bro.
yeah,
Can't do anything with that, you
no,
know?
no, and honestly, and I was just going to make the comparison of what I feel like this is going to look like is exactly what happened to Joe Burrow, and I've always been like, yo, the Bengals are failing Joe Burrow. They're like, yeah, they kept their two
Big
wide receivers.
time.
I'm like, yo, he has the record for a playoff victory with the most sacks. Like he got sacked like 9 times in a playoff game and still won. Like
I think the Bengals still second in the division. If you want to talk about crazy thing.
I mean not for long, but still. All right. But no, I was just curious. I was just curious about that. Um, surprise, surprise. The Patriots did beat the Bills, man. I didn't see that one coming. Did you see that one coming?
Crazy, man. No, not at all.
I mean, once again, I don't put too much on it. They're division rivals, you know what I mean? But I did hear people talking about Patriots in playoffs. You got anything for Patriots being in the playoffs?
Um, it's not out of the question. I mean, one of the things I kind of wanted to just talk to you about when we get through the games was just how to me, this is like the year that I remember out of the last few where there just seems to be the most, it seems to just be a balanced league.
Parity.
No one,
Parity.
no one really stands out. Um, I think the Bills and the Lions are the two best teams in the league. Personally, I think, yeah, that's my Super Bowl prediction.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, every team's flawed. Every 4-1 team has got some major flaws. Um, it's going to be interesting to see what happens,
Okay.
man.
Okay. I was just curious. All right, cool. So the last game that we had to rap about on for this week, the Jaguars, man, they beat the Chiefs, man. 31-28 in a crazy game. Let's go through these stats. Patrick Mahomes, he was 29 of 41, 318 yards, one touchdown, one pick. He also led them in rushing with 60 yards and
He leads the team in rushing this season, bro.
that's crazy.
Crazy.
And there ain't a rushing touchdown. Kareem Hunt did have 2 rushing touchdowns now. Fair enough. I was gonna say his name right. Tyquan Thornton had 3 receptions for 90 yards and no touchdown. Travis Kelsey had the receiving touchdown. He had 61 yards and a receiving touchdown. Did they? Let's see. What's going on with that defense? Jalen Watson had a sack. They had 2.5 sacks. No, 3 sacks. They had 3 sacks, and Trent McDuffie had a pick. Um, the Jags. Trevor Lawrence was 18 and 25, 221 yards, one touchdown, one pick. He also led them in rushing, also with 10 carries for 54 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Ironic in terms of what we're about to say. Brian Thomas Jr. had 4 receptions for 80 yards, but the receiving touchdown came from Parker Washington, and they had no sacks, but um, Devin Lloyd had the pick, and that was a huge play in this game as
Huge.
well. Man, tell us about this game, man.
Love to see a Chiefs loss always. Um, Chiefs. I almost couldn't even tell you. The funny thing is that the Chiefs are like, for 2 and 3, they're still like a scary team to me. Whereas the Jaguars might be the worst 4-1 team I've ever seen.
Well, they're about to get players back, so I understand where you're coming
They
from.
are. They are. But again, the Chiefs' problems are on the offensive line. They cannot run the ball at all. And Mahomes has changed his game, a lot over the last few years. I mean, he used to be a deep ball guy, all rain balls to Tyreek Hill, deep balls down the field, and now he's kind of a short yard thrower, scrambler, and a lot of that's because teams just started playing so much cover two against the Chiefs because they're just that's the only way to stop those deep balls, and the Chiefs were able to move the ball a little better the last couple of years, but this year just nothing on the run at all. And I think that's hurting them because if you can't establish a run, you can sit all your guys back and keep as many guys in coverage as you can and pick them off. And so it's interesting to see the Chiefs struggle like this. It's great coaching, great organization, but something's missing. I don't know exactly what it is, but offensively they just don't see the same. Kelsey's obviously on his last leg. I think they really need Rashee Rice back because he's the guy that they can just throw the ball to 10, 12 times a game and move the chains a little bit better. So we'll see. And defensively, just haven't looked as solid as they have in the past. Still a good defense, but
Well, you can hold it right there. Absolutely. And I've been on record. I'm tired of acting as if the Chiefs rosters have been good rosters. I'm tired of acting like what we saw. We saw. All right. The reason why I feel so highly about Patrick Mahomes is because I know those rosters suck that he won Super Bowls with. Not all of them. Not the first one, but those rosters were bad. Okay. It was Patrick Mahomes. It's Chris Jones. They usually have a corner or two. I mean, and Travis Kelsey, he's not that guy no more. You know what I'm saying? He's just not, and he hasn't been for about like 3 years. If we're going to be honest about it, he has not
yeah,
been
for
that
sure.
guy constantly. So these rosters are not good rosters. They need to look at themselves in the mirror and be honest and just say, all right, we need to surround Pat with better talent. They need at least one other pass rusher. They need an upgraded offensive line. Wide receivers, when they get Rasheed Rice back, they'll be fine there. But they need another playmaker on that offense, and they don't have a guy like Travis Kelsey who's like, I can beat you with him. That person is you have to double him. There's nothing on there. So these rosters are not good. So like yeah, they're looking like they're starting off with slow starts because when everything has looked like a grind for like the last 2.5 years with them, they still went to two Super Bowls. You know what I mean, and won one, but I don't
Well,
know.
last year, the crazy stat was I think they went like 10-1 in games that they won by less than 7 points or something. It was like all these crazy close games they were kind of pulling out. With Mahomes magic and look,
You
Rasheed
know,
Rice kind of took
but
over
you know
that Kelsey
they
role.
switches back the next year. Like teams
For
that
sure. No, no, that's
like
not
win
sticky at
score
all.
games, the next year it swings the other way. So you gotta understand that. Like, and if we
For
get it,
sure.
the GM's got to get it too. Okay, and that's just what it is.
For sure. And on the Jag side, that defense is stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
That defense kind of came out of nowhere for me. I did not expect them to be that strong. I don't know if that's going to stick all season, but that defense has been super solid. Offensively, I think Lawrence is terrible, dude. He half the game, three-quarters of the game, I'm watching him throw, and I'm just like, I don't know how this guy was,
Right.
this lauded, incredible college quarterback, and he just looks bad out there. But then he makes a couple good plays with his feet, and was able to pull it out. Luckily, Etienne and Tootin have been playing well. Dude, they got to get the ball to Travis Hunter more on offense, man. When that guy has the rock,
Oh, he's explosive.
he is electric, bro.
He's
Electric.
mm-hmm.
And for some reason, BTJ and Lawrence just don't really have a great connection, man. Mac Jones was feeding Brian Thomas all year last year.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, he's been super quiet. I mean, I think that was his most yards all season last game.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. I don't even know if this team's going to make the playoffs. Truthfully, I just don't think they're that good. But they've surprised me so far, man.
Well, that's the thing. I do think they're going to make the playoffs. I do think they're going to be in the playoffs. But I do know they have a ceiling. let me say that. I know the Jaguars have a ceiling. I'm just trying to evaluate where that ceiling actually is. Now, most of that is revolved around Trevor Lawrence and how good he has to play. But I will say they're 4-1, and he ain't really played that well. So the team is really uplifting him as well. You know what I mean? So he got to get it together. If he can get it together, this is a scary roster. This roster with a very good quarterback is a scary roster. You know what I mean? They got to get it together though. But and Trevor Lawrence got to figure something out. They got to figure out what to do with Trevor Lawrence. I know they have a ceiling. I'm just not sure where that ceiling is right now. But I think they're a playoff team.
We'll see, man. The roster doesn't scare me. I mean, when I was looking at it before the season, like I just, there's only a couple guys I can name on that defense. Hines Allen's super good. Eric Armstead's good. The middle linebacker, I forget his last name, Olakei or something, is a good player, but the rest of that defense is just kind of no-name guys, and the
I mean, Josh
offense,
Allen's.
yeah,
They have Josh Hines on there.
Josh Hines Allen and Eric Armstead are great, and their middle linebacker, I forget his name, but he's super good. Okay, but the rest of their team, man, is it wasn't a defense that I looked at that I thought was going to be a top half of the league defense at all. We'll see.
Well,
They're
I
playing
mean,
like it, so
yeah. Well, I mean, they have a legitimate wide receiver. They have a very good running game. They have two legitimate pass rushers. Their cornerbacks are good. I mean, like they have the makeup. Their offensive line is pretty good, actually. They have the pieces there to be able to do
for
something.
sure.
Once again, I know they have a ceiling. I'm not. I'm just not sure where it is
I'm
yet.
with you, man.
So let's get into the week 6 games to watch. Now I'm gonna say the one I'm saying it out of order because the one I almost wanted to take it off. I expected them to win, and that's why I threw that on there. But Rams versus Ravens, man, who you got winning that game?
This is a crazy one because I don't know if Lamar Jackson's fully healthy, but he's got to play. I mean, if the Ravens go to 1-5,
Is that it? If they go to 1-5, is that it?
cooked, cooked, bro.
They got the
So
Rams
their only
coming
chance.
off a loss to the 49ers, and everybody was injured.
It's tough, man. I mean, the Ravens defense is looking all time bad. They have a ton of injuries. They're just giving up so many points. Um, and if Lamar's not in there to keep him in the game, it's not coming from Cooper Rush.
Right.
So
Curious about that. Even when I thought that, because I thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl. Even when I thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl, um, I was curious about like, am I wrong with the thought process? You need two pass rushers, period. And I was like, well, they said, well, we generate a pass rusher, we need another corner. And I was like, I was curious about that. I was very curious. And now I just think I'm right about it. No, for all these teams constructing teams, don't get all of these corners at the expense of your pass rushers. You need at some point to get to the quarterback with four rushers. If you can't do that, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work out. That's
sure.
okay.
They
So
also just traded one of their pass rushers to the Chargers.
who they just traded to the Chargers?
Ofi, young defensive end. He's pretty good. And they got a Lohi Gilman, our backup free safety.
Okay, okay, cool. Um, okay, so this game I am very excited about now. Seahawks Jags. Now my Colts are playing at 1 o'clock, and I still might watch this game. Seahawks Jags. Who you got winning this game?
Seahawks. Seahawks. Low scoring game. I think Seahawks pull it out. I don't believe in the Jaguars, man. I think it's gonna start to fall apart. I don't think it's gonna look like a train wreck, but I think the Seahawks are looking really good. They're healthy. I think their defense will do enough to stop Trevor. And I don't believe in the Jags, man. They're one
And
and a half point favorites at home.
right. So I mean, I'll be rooting for the Seahawks. Don't get me wrong. But not. I think I'm rolling with the Jags on this one, man. At home. At home. If this was on the road, I would think I would feel the same exact way. But at home, coming off of that high, playing a team that they gotta take seriously. Yeah, man, I'm thinking the Jags are gonna win this one too.
We'll see. It'll certainly make me believe a little bit more if they can win. But I don't believe in I don't believe in them. We'll see.
Got you. Which goes to the next game: Cardinals versus Colts. Who you got?
Colts. Got the Colts.
You gotta have
Cardinals.
the Colts, man. Let me tell you, this was tricky. I was going to exit out of this whole thing if you didn't have the Colts.
I worry about your Colts, man.
Tell me about that.
Lost to the Rams. Should
hmm
have lost to the Broncos.
hmm
Only
We
teams they
should have
beat.
beat we should have beat the Rams though.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah,
mm.
yeah.
You beat the Raiders, the Titans, and the Dolphins. Possibly the three worst teams in the league.
And we beat someone else too. And the Broncos.
Yeah, but you should have lost to the Broncos. That penalty was
Like, hold
bullshit.
on.
That was bull, bro.
AD
Come on.
Mitchell, AD Mitchell completely cost us that Rams game. Uh, he
Yeah,
drops the
that was
ball
bad.
at the
That
goal
was bad.
line. We should have been up by 14 at that point.
Which, by the way, we got to talk about the Cardinals because this might be the worst loss I've ever seen live.
Oh yeah.
And two of two all
Only 4 minutes
time
left, and they was up by 17.
two all time terrible plays, dude. For first of all, for someone to fumble before the end zone a week after another player did it, I just that's unforgivable, dude. I don't know how you see someone do it the week
Then did you see the
before
coach?
and
The
then
head
do it
coach
again.
threw punches at him. Then
He
after
hit
that,
him, dude. That was crazy. They fined him 100 grand, by the way, the coach.
I don't know if that's enough. I
Um,
mean, you can't hit them. You can't
that was
hit
crazy, man. That was out of pocket, but that was just crazy. And then, dude, that interception that the guy fumbled without being touched, that got kicked into the end zone and recovered for a Titans touchdown, all time awful play.
them.
That was a crazy comeback.
Yeah, that was a bit outlandish.
Half my survivor pool went out last week
Okay.
between the Rams losing, the Cardinals losing, the Eagles losing, and the Chiefs losing. That took out like 2,500 people out of 5,000.
Right. Now, I will agree with you. Yes, there is a world where my Colts could have been 3-2. Not gonna lie to you, that could be a
They're
scenario.
not going to lose to the Cardinals though, and I think Kyler Murray might be hurt too.
Regardless, I think we're going to win this game. I'm impressed with. I like our team. I don't love it. I would love. What I want to see first of all is Daniel Jones up against a top flight legitimate quarterback in a duel. I need to see that and see where he looks at that. But I would love for us to have another pass rusher, and we just don't. And that I feel as though that's our ceiling right there. I just told you our ceiling. Daniel Jones and how good he can play in a high pressure quarterback is great scenario, and then a legitimate pass rusher.
For sure.
So that's our ceiling. But yeah.
Colts look good, man, and the Texans' demise has been
Ooh.
very good.
I mean, it doesn't look as bad as the Ravens at this point, but
That's true.
yeah. But like
That offensive line is not giving Stroud anything at all.
that's a shame because that defense is great.
It is. It's true.
Um, okay, moving forward. 49ers versus Bucks.
This is going to be a very good game.
Okay.
This is game of the week watch alert. It's going to be interesting. I think the Bucks have the edge right now.
hmm
We'll see if Mike Evans and Bucky come back, they're going to look even better. For the 49ers, it's the same thing, man. If they get Pearsall and Jawan and I mean I don't even know if they want Purdy back at this point, but if they get those guys back, this is going to be a battle, man. High scoring game. Um, I think the Bucks come out on top though.
So that's exactly where I was kind of gonna go with this. I don't think this is the game of the week. I don't think the Bucks are gonna win this game. Okay. I can't see. First of all, if the 49ers win this game, you can't bring back Brock Purdy. Like you can't. If they were able to go on the road, beat the Rams, come back, and then beat the Bucks, you can't bring Brock Purdy back.
It's tough to justify keeping your $200 million contract quarterback on the bench.
But you didn't. But like, legitimately, did you think that they were going to be able to pull that off at the beginning of the season with Brock Purdy?
Um, Look,
Exactly what I
I
just said.
had high expectations for the 49ers. I think their roster is still super solid. Um, I think in order to bench Brad, I just don't know if winning another game is enough to keep
Listen,
Brock on the
I'm not.
bench.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to look at the 49ers like this. Too many injuries. Something's got to catch up. It's got to catch up. I'm
For sure.
sorry. These are not all the starters that they wanted to be playing. Something's got to catch up. The Bucs are going to win this game. I'm
I
actually
think the
going to
Bucs
say
win.
I'm going to say by 10.
Bucs haven't won a game by more than three all season. It's
I
going to be a
know.
close one, but I think the Bucs win.
And I think this is the game that they win it by 10.
Oh man, I don't know. I think it'll be closer, but like I said, I'm with you on the Bucs call for sure.
Okay. Now this is the going to be the game of the week. Sunday Night Football, Chiefs Lions. Who you got?
Lions, Lions. Um, my one knock on the Lions is they haven't really played too many good teams this year.
Hmm.
They beat the Ravens healthy, really good game. But their last couple wins were not against good teams, Bengals, Browns, and another I forget which other team, but not a top team. Um, I think the Lions look great considering the turnaround they've had with their personnel.
Hmm.
Offense doesn't look like it's really skipped a beat. They lost the first game of the season against the Packers. You know, new coaches. First game of the season, you can kind of give them a little bit of a wash, but they've looked dominant since. I don't think Kansas City defense has what it takes to slow them down. And the Lions defense is looking mostly healthy. They got a couple banged up cornerbacks, but the rest of their defense looks solid. Hutchinson looks like another guy that, defensive player of the year short list. And, the Chiefs just haven't really shown me much this year. So I think I bet you the Lions beat the Chiefs by more than the Bucs beat San Francisco. Let's put it that way. I think the Lions win it,
Well,
but we'll see. This is a good test for the Lions because their next five games are like Chiefs, Bucs, Vikings, Eagles. They got a tough schedule. That's the one thing that's tough for the Vikings. They got a tough schedule this year, but if they can win four of their next five games, I mean, like I said, I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC. So I expect them to beat the Chiefs by at least a touchdown.
okay. Well, ironically,
High scoring game though. I think it's going to be a barn burner for sure.
ironically or not ironically, however you want to see it, I got the Chiefs on this one, man, and I think you're going to be very wrong about this. This is a Patrick Mahomes game. This is a game where you're looking at it and you're saying, well, he's not going to be able to do anything with this. And somehow he is managing. Are they going to put up 38 points? Probably not.
It's in
Are they
Detroit,
going to?
right? In the dome.
Say it again.
It's in Detroit, right? In the dome.
Yeah, I believe it's in Detroit.
Yeah.
Not that
If it was Kansas City outdoors, golf outdoors kind of struggled a
no,
little
it's
bit.
it's in Kansas City. It's in Kansas City.
Oh, it's in Kansas City.
It's in Kansas City.
Why did I think it was in Detroit?
I don't know, but
Oh,
none of that really mattered to me. The Chiefs
oh, it
losing
matters, man. Golf
two games back to
outdoors.
back. The Chiefs losing two games back to back. No, that's not an Andy Reid trait. Patrick Mahomes, like I'm telling you, this is the game where Patrick Mahomes says or shows people or reminds everybody, yeah, I'm the best quarterback in the NFL.
I still think the Lions win. Maybe they don't win by more than the Bucs beat the 49ers, but
Oh, you brought that back now.
I'm bringing that back. I thought this was in the dome. I thought
You
this was
calmed
in the
that
dome in
down now.
Detroit. I thought this was in the dome in Detroit. Outdoors, golf struggles a little bit, but I just think the Lions are just much better than the Chiefs this year, offense and defense. I don't see the Chiefs slowing them down, and I just don't know if their offense has enough to keep up with the Lions. So
Chiefs
I'm
going
still going to
2 and
take the
4.
Lions on this
Nope. Patrick Mahomes back to back losses. Nope. Andy Reid back to back losses. Nope. The Chiefs going 2 and 4. No, I'm not going for it. Chiefs gonna win this game. I'm confident in
one.
that
See,
one.
man.
I'm
See, I like
confident
it.
in that one. Okay. So now we're gonna have to talk on Sunday. Cause now we gotta talk about I'm telling you the Bucks gonna win by 10 against the 49ers. And the Chiefs are going to win this game against the Lions. Trust me on that. Okay. And of course the Monday night games, which we're not talking about, but the Monday night games were Bills Falcons, which I wasn't excited about, and Bears Commanders, which I also wasn't excited about. I mean, I watch it, but wasn't excited about it. With that said, we have wrapped up week 5 and gave our predictions for week 6.
All
So
right,
only
man.
thing left to talk about, man, it's been a surprising season, man. I have about like I might have 10 surprises. So I'm very curious to hear what surprises that you have.
Man, it's I don't know if I want to say changing of the guard, but it's been interesting to see guys like Mahomes struggle, the Ravens struggle. Obviously, the Bengals lost Burrow early, which sucks. I mean, injury is always going to derail a team, but Danny Dimes 4-1, Baker 4-1, Mac Jones 4-1, Trevor Lawrence 4-1. None of these guys are really teams that I expected to be 4-1 at this point in the season. And we kind of mentioned it at the beginning. The parity this year is it's just making things really exciting. Um, every one of these 4-1 teams, you could poke a bunch of holes in, you know. Like I said, I think at least for me, the Bills and the Lions, I think are the best two teams in football. Um, the Bucs, super close games every game. The Eagles don't look like themselves. The Colts have beaten up on bad teams. Jaguars, I just think are
And
phony.
the Broncos, don't forget that, and the Broncos. Thank you, sir. I
Yeah,
appreciate
fair enough. Fair enough. Uh,
that.
Packers lost to the Browns and tied the Cowboys.
hmm
Steelers barely beat the Jets, got whooped by the Seahawks. 49ers lost to the Jags, barely beat the Cardinals, had a close game with the Saints. None of these 4-1 teams really stand out to me too much. And if you look at the kind of 3-2 teams, Chargers are decimated, Broncos are up and down. The Patriots, I think, are super mid. Uh, you know, Quarterback questions. The Vikings are 3-2, but McCarthy and what's his name, Carson Wentz, just not great quarterbacks. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's tough to see who's gonna come out here. The Chiefs are still dangerous, but haven't looked themselves. Just a funky season, man. I mean, the NFL always throws you for a loop, but this year in particular just seems really hard to predict. Bills and Lions, man. I'm betting futures. I like it.
Okay. Well, to me, nothing's been more shocking than the Ravens. Okay, I think everybody can agree on that. That's just outrageous. I don't know. No one saw 1-4 come, and 1-5 probably coming their way. No one saw 1-5 for them. Um, before the injuries, you guys were actually shocking to me. But now with the injuries, I'm like, that's not gonna look
Awful.
good for you guys.
Chargers look like they could run away with that division, man. Awful.
Um, I am shocked that I'm gonna say I think the AFC South is gonna have two playoff teams. Um, and so I don't know if that I don't know. So my thought process is I don't know if that really bumps y'all out because the AFC West could still easily have three playoff teams. Because the AFC North is only gonna have one, and it's gonna be the Charge. I mean, this the Steelers.
Steelers, yeah.
Um, so I don't know if it bumps y'all out, but y'all and the Patriots are like that's where the cutoff is. So I think that'll be interesting. But then the Patriots looking like a playoff team, that's kind of shocking too to me.
I think the AFC West could still have three playoff teams. Hopefully the Chargers can get their O line healthy and make it work until O'Marion comes back. Really hope so.
hmm
Um, Broncos, I think, can definitely make it. And I think the Chiefs can still come back and make it for sure. Patriots look solid. I think Vrabel is a very underrated coach. I really, really like Mike Vrabel. Um, but the Patriots roster just
Right there.
there's
I
not
mean,
much there.
he's always been a tough, gritty coach. You know what I mean? Could be
Sure.
a reunion with him and AJ Brown, but I don't think that's gonna happen this year. But that's always interesting. Also, I want to give kudos where kudos are. given. Dak Prescott is playing amazing this year, and he's playing in a way where I would say I really don't like him playing. Now, does that mean that they're probably going to have more losses? Yes, but he is carving this league up right now.
Without CD, man.
Yeah. I'm actually a little shocked, believe it or not, by how the Cardinals are playing because I actually had them going to the playoffs. And if they weren't, and this has been their fault, like all three of these losses have kind of been their fault. Not like
All
they're
time bad
losing
from
games.
last game,
They're
man.
losing games, not winning games. Or they're losing games. Teams aren't showing that they're better than them. They're finding ways to lose games. So that um is also shocking. And Seahawks
I
defense.
think Kyler's time is going to come to an end soon.
It probably will with because I think their head coach is going to be going after this year too.
Yeah,
Um, let's see. But what's surprising to me is like the resurgence of all of these quarterbacks too, man. There's a lot of quarterbacks who were looked at to be busts, and they weren't busts. They were just in bad situations. So for them to be doing what they're doing, like even Sam Darnold is still like, do I want to pay Sam Darnold? No, not what he wants, but what he's doing in the league, he still is doing a great job in Seattle.
that's looking like the move of the offseason, man, because Gino's been looking terrible.
Well, I'm gonna be real with you. So we just played the Raiders. That game didn't look at it when I'm watching the game, it wasn't as bad as 40-6 would provide. Like they were driving down the field. Gino did not look bad. And I know if you if,
The
if you
league in
didn't watch the
turnovers.
game, which most people didn't, you're not going to really understand what I'm saying. Geno Smith did not look bad, and Genti, he's a beast. He's a beast, and he's a lot to deal with, a lot to handle. Um, things just rolled out of control for them, but they're going to surprise somebody again. You know what I mean? They're going to beat somebody you don't think they're going to beat. I guarantee that.
It's funny, man. The Genti thing is interesting because he's obviously super talented.
Hmm.
I'm surprised they picked him. I'm very surprised the Raiders picked him. You know, Pete Carroll is a great coach. You know, it's a very Raiders pick. You know, I was thinking with Carroll coming in, they would change it up a little bit. But to me, if you're a rebuilding team, to waste a six pick on a running back in a draft class that's considered one of the strongest running back draft classes in a long time, it just, I don't want to say it's a waste of a pick, but it seems like it's more of a, selling tickets in Vegas than a smart pick for the franchise. You know what I'm saying? They have a bad O line.
I know what you're saying. I know
They
what you're
have a
saying.
bad defense.
I
You're a
know. I know what you're
rebuilding
saying.
team.
I know what you're saying, but when I look at history, and even in more recent history, the drafting of running backs has changed the trajectory of offenses. So like even going back to like Dak Prescott, you remember when they had DeMarco Murray? DeMarco Murray is probably more why Dak Prescott got paid more than Dak Prescott is the reason Dak Prescott got paid because when he was able to just run the ball like their defense, I remember their defense was even bad that year. Um, like the defense was bad. Their offense, Dak was a rookie. It was just like, oh, okay, we can run the ball. Wow, we can look a lot better. And then when they drafted Ezekiel Elliott, pretty much the same thing happened. Um, when Detroit drafted Gibbs from Alabama, I mean, it changed. Like these running backs are able to come in now and do this. It's not the same.
Gibbs was stepping into a good situation.
He was. I'm not saying that, but he made their whole offense way more dynamic. And listen, I get it. You're right, but I feel like they weren't necessarily
This
wrong
situation to me
for
is
this.
more like the Giants drafting Saquon. You know,
So like I said, we just played them this week, and I'm watching how he runs and stuff like that. I'm not so sure I would all the way agree with that. It's not that you're wrong; it's that he he is talented, man. He's a load, and he was like, all right, you know what I mean? Like he's about to break. I felt like he was going to break a run about like 6 or 7 of those carries.
he's
I
a
felt
freak,
like he was
dude.
about to
He's a
break this
freak.
run. So I don't know. I don't know. I would love to see. I need to see it keep going, but Ashton Genty is a beast, bro. I'm telling you.
There's no doubt. But like, look at the Browns with Judkins, man. Judkins came in, barely played this offseason. He's been crushing it, and they didn't have to take him with a first five pick.
Hmm.
It's tough. It's a tough call. It's a
Okay.
tough call. But if I'm a rebuilding team,
A running back is hard for you to do. I get it. So I get that. But for me, ironically, is wide receiver. Like I don't know how you're drafting a wide receiver and you're rebuilding.
sure.
That's not what you do to me. Either way, Jeremy, man, you just came through, man. You came through again, man. You just did your thing, man. I'm excited to get this episode up, boy. I can't wait to see this one.
I love it, bro. I love it, man.
But we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. So once again, I appreciate you coming on, man. You got any last words that you want to say, man? Because we love having you on, man. We want to keep having you on, man.
I just hope the football gods hear my pleas to heal my Chargers up because it could have been the year and they just wanted to smite us again. I don't know why, but we're gonna get a Super Bowl in the next five.
I don't know. Do y'all pray to Zeus or
Done deal,
something like
dude.
that? Like, is that what the Chargers do? I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Somebody up there's got to listen to me, man.
Somebody got to
I
help
need
them
it.
out. All right, y'all. You can catch the full episodes on Spotify and YouTube. You catch the reels on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We all over the place. Jeremy, yo, man, you killed it again. And you said you was new at this and you ain't know if you could pull it off. Man, I'm telling you, you got a lane here. And you
I
did
love it,
all of
man.
this. And unfortunately, I still have to tell you, cuz you don't know football. I appreciate you, man, as always. Please come back soon.